Hello friends, this is Shelley. Thanks so much again for clicking on one of my videos. Oh, I just appreciate you all so much, and I thank you that you are sticking with me and that we're building this channel together, and I just am enjoying my time. I wanted to say that right off the hop. I appreciate you all so very much. In this tutorial, we're going to make this bunny. He is so cute. Like seriously, this yarn is Bernat Premium in Baby Lilac, and it's so much nicer than what my picture can even show you. Like it's so soft and gorgeous, and you're gonna love it. I used my 46 and my 22 needle Addi for this project. Also used some white from Bernat Premium for the tail, of course, and we're gonna just have fun making him. He's just adorable. His little bum is so cute. And he looked a little mean at first when I started making him, and you'll see that in the video. Just a little clue, when you're starting the eyes, grab smaller ones than what I show you at first, and you'll be more happy. And so once we have our supplies ready, and once you've hit like and subscribe, friends, if you're not a part of my channel through subscribing, please do so. It would mean a lot to me. It's free. It doesn't give you any nasty emails or irritating emails or anything like that. It just helps me to know that you're with me, and it helps YouTube to know that my channel is being watched. So thank you for doing those two things for me. I really appreciate it. So grab your supplies, and we're gonna make this adorable bunny.
Let's begin. We're going to first take our last white and our first black needle and put it in line with our yarn guide. Now, if you haven't done this already, take a black permanent marker and mark that red divider that's between the two, because you'll always know when the end of your row is coming around, and it's very helpful. We're going to take our yarn, we're going to go behind that first black, in front of the next, behind and in front, all the way around, and cast on just like this. Letting the yarn slip through your fingers, not putting any extra tension on it, until we get all the way around. But before we get all the way around, we're going to set our row counter to 0, so we're ready to begin. And we're going to be in front of that last white. Open your yarn feeder, pop that yarn strand right into there, close the feeder, and we are going to begin knitting. Go quite slow on this first row just to make sure that those needles pick it up and take it down. Make sure that loop is over those 2 red teeth, just to get a good start on your project. Also make sure that you have slack in your ball coming out of the yarn tail. And I always pull that down to make that stitch a little bit nicer. We're going to keep going around. This handle is squeaky, and I did say that the last video I was gonna grease it, and I did, but I guess I greased the wrong spot. It might be just this big round part, so I will do that by the end of this video. We're going to keep knitting just like this. Same color, keep knitting until you get to 90 rows. So it won't take you long, friends, and it's simple. It's just this straight knitting just like this. Go round at an even tension so your rows are all beautiful. I'm putting just a little bit of tension on my yarn, not much, just have it between my fingers and just holding it to guide it. And I'm going to keep going. Once my project starts to touch the table, if you're new, come back and see me in the next clip, and I'll show you what we do with it and tell you why. All right, friends, keep going. And if you have done this before, do 90 rows. All right, so how's it going? Just realized my nail polish matches this this yarn. Pretty cool. Anyways, we are going to, once your project starts to touch the table, you want to then roll it up, because if you don't, it just puts some tension or some looseness on your work here, and you could risk dropping the little loop off the little red teeth, and then your row will start to drop. You don't want that, and you want to keep your tension even throughout your project, and by doing that, it helps as well, because I'll show you in a second. We're going to just pick it up. We're going to roll it. And you do that every 15 or so rows, as often as you like. And what that does is it makes the tension around the barrel even as well, and helps you to have nice, beautiful stitches. So keep going, and when your project starts to get a little bit lower, then just keep rolling it up. We only have 90 rows to do on this, so you may not have to do it more than one more time, but keep going, and I'll see you when you get to 90 rows. All right, I just clicked on row 90. I'm going to finish row 90, and I see that black marked divider coming around, so I know that I'm at the end of my row. So now that you have 90 rows done, you're going to cut off a tail that will wrap around your barrel 1.5 times at least, and we're going to cast off. Okay, cut that off. Open your latch. Make sure that your yarn tail goes between the last white and the first black, because you still have to finish knitting this one and you have to knit this one. If you don't do that, you're going to drop a row. Okay, so let's thread our needle. And I'm going to I'm going to just hold this in place to make sure that that knits. And once that needle drops down, that loop becomes available to take off. And I'm going to go ahead and use my needle to grab it with this yarn tail that we just cut off. Don't pull up too high on this, because then this one will risk falling off. And if that does that and you miss it, catching it, then your row will start to drop. So be very, very careful. And once you get some slack in here, you can start taking off more than one at a time, just like this, and hold them on the needle with your thumb. Put your finger over that next one to make sure that doesn't pop off, and pull this through. And keep going around till you get them all off. There we go. We have our beautiful piece off the machine. We're going to take that needle off that yarn tail so we can unroll this just like so. We're going to stretch it all the way down widthwise, and then we're going to do the same lengthwise, and we'll watch how beautiful those rows look once we do that. Makes a huge difference. Okay, and I'm going to just pull it like that, and there we go. Now what we're going to do, love it, this color is beautiful. We're going to take one side, any side, and we're going to pull on that yarn tail and fasten this up tight, okay? Or tighten this up. And whenever you do that, don't just pull, because look how that bunches up there. If you pull and just then tie it off, you're going to have a messy looking top. Always smooth this out. Always smooth it out for beanies, for anything. And I'm going to cut this off because I don't need it quite so long. It's getting in my way. And we are going to smooth that out. Then you're going to put your needle back on. And we're going to reinforce around that edge. Okay? So now that we have that first row all smoothed out, we're going to take our yarn in our needle, and we're going to go around that first row of stitches, just like that. You can easily see them. And then pull. Smooth it out. Get under there. And pull. And do that all the way around that center circle there. Almost done. I'm going to pull that tight. Then I'm going to just tie a little knot to secure. Pick up 1 or 2 strands there. Pull that knot down with your thumb. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand inside. You're going to grab the top. Pop that needle in, grab it with your hand on the inside so it doesn't snag the side of your work. Pinch the top of this one and bring it halfway through. Bring it through so that that end that you just worked on is coming out this end. Pull that knot through. Then you're going to do the same thing, leaving this tail out. You're going to now do the same thing with this other end. Smoothing it out nicely. Pulling it tight. Reinforcing around there, and I'll see you back. Once you have that nicely closed, it looks so good, pull up on the two. Now, when you pull on this to bring the inside one up close to the top one, don't pull it so tight that you snap this, because trust me, friends, it happens, and you don't want to do that, obvious reasons. Okay, we're going to tighten that just like that. Then we're going to tie a firm knot to secure. I'm going to do 3 because this is going to be an end that we don't want to come apart. Then I'm going to cut this off. We don't want any of our ends to come apart, but on the end of the work, edge of the work like that, I always just tie 3 when I know I'm finished doing what I need to do there. Okay, and then I'm going to just pop this in between the 2 layers, pull it out, and we're going to cut it off. Looks like a beautiful little beanie, which it is, but it's not going to stay that way. We're going to take another piece of yarn. We're going to, I already cut it off my ball. We're going to put it onto our needle. We're going to make a cinch bottom here. But what you want to do is you want to put your hand on the inside and just smooth this out. You want to get it nice and smooth so you have that true edge there. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. I must make a beanie in this color. It's beautiful, very soft. And then what we're going to do is take that very bottom edge and we're going to go under 1 stitch. So pick up the 2 bars, pull through, leaving a tail, of course. Pop that in there so it doesn't get in my way. And then we're going to go over a row, under a row, over a row, under. Just like this, all the way around. Stopping to smooth it out. Make sure you're on the same edge all the way around. Okay, just like that. Over, under, over, under, over, under. All the way around until I get to the beginning. All right, friends, go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back in just a few seconds. Once we have completed that, we're going to grab our fiber fill, and we're going to stuff this piece, okay? I don't want it in a circle, I want it in a tube. So if I stuffed it really tight, I'd get one big ball. I don't want that. I want to have it more as an oblong, which you've seen at the beginning of the video when you look at it, okay? So we're going to continue stuffing that in there. I'm going to pull this a little bit tight just to see where I'm at. You know what? That last piece I didn't pull apart. I always tell you to I pull it apart. Look how it makes a lump. It does make a difference. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. So I'm going to pull that out. And I'm going to pull this apart. I don't know, I just slipped my mind. I'm going to pull that apart, pop it in there. Just softens it up and doesn't give you any crazy lumps. And I think it goes further too, to be honest. There we go, pop that in there. But I could be wrong, just my personal thoughts. All right, so then if I look at this and I take this and I close it just a little bit just to see where I'm at. I think that's good. I don't want it too full. I want my rows to still be nice and close together. I don't want them compromised and stretching like that, because then it takes away completely from the way your project looks. So you want it nice and firm, but not so firm that your rows start to come apart. Okay, once you have that done, we're going to take this end and we're going to tie it closed, making sure you don't snap it again, friends. You want to be very careful. I'm going to tie it, and then we'll reinforce it after we get the initial knot in there. So there's my initial knot. I'm going to take one of these ends, put it back on my needle, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to reinforce around the outside edge, picking up that first row of stitches, just like what we've done twice already, okay? So go ahead, go around and keep going around until you have this tight. You pick up a few stitches just like this, and then you pull, and it will eventually tighten the whole thing till it's closed. All right, friends? So go ahead, take your time, do it nicely. Make sure you get at that very bottom, that very first row here. Don't go down up a row because you're going to compromise the look of your piece. You want to pay real close attention to detail here, and keep going around and pulling until you have it closed. Then tie these two off really tight in a knot. Once you have that knotted, you're going to put those two ends on your needle. Pop that in the center there, under the fiber fill and out. Pull up on it, cut it off. and then work this. You want all your rows to be straight. You don't want them to be bent sideways like that. And see, again, that's just a simple thing that if you don't pay attention to that detail, this is going to be all sideways and it's not going to be nice, okay? You want to get it nice and perfect. Just like that. What we are going to do next is set up our 22 needle machine, and we're going to bring our last white and our first black needle in line with our yarn guide. And what I did before I did this part now is I was hankering for something sweet. So I went upstairs and I made myself a piece of toast with peanut butter and honey and a cup of coffee. It hit the spot. And now we're ready to begin. So if you need to take a little break to go get something to snack on, you go do that and then come back and see me. We're going to cast on between our first black with white. I'm using white. And our go behind and in front and behind and front, because we're making the nose part of our little bunny. Okay, so we're casting on just like this, and before we get to the beginning, we're going to set our row counter to 0. It's in front of that last white needle into our yarn feeder, making sure there's some slack coming out of your ball. And always help that loop over the 2 little red teeth. We are going to knit, 14 rows. Okay, so that's a quick piece. You're going to knit 14 rows, and then you're going to cast off just like we cast it off on the body, okay? So you're going to cut off a tail that goes around the width of your machine, or the circumference of your machine 1.5 times, and then you're going to drop the needle down so that it releases that little stitch, and you're going to pick them off, and you're going to cast off just like we did on the other piece, okay? 14 rows, cast off. See you back. Here's our little nose. Got it off the machine. We're going to stretch it out. And we're going to cinch this one end, smoothing it out as we do so. You know, friends, really, once you make one of these, like as in anything, the next one is always quicker. But this project really is a very fast project to make, and yet so cute. It's something that you can just sit down and work through and get it done and be proud of. Okay, I've tightened that up, and I'm going to now just take a little strand here to tie a little knot to fasten that. Make sure that little, push that down with my thumb. Make sure that little center stays tight. Pop my needle through, and when I do, I always pull that a little tighter so that that knot goes in between. Okay, and we're going to, this is a tiny little piece, but we're still going to bring that other end. We're going to now cinch this other end, but we're going to bring these two together. It's going to be like a flat little thing, so it's easy to do, but you're going to smooth this side out. You're going to get a little circle here, but we're not going to leave it in a circle. Keep that yarn tail out. You're going to do the same thing we've done already, so I'm not going to stay on camera with you. You're going to go around and you're going to reinforce that center right there, okay? Once that's done, you're going to take these 2 tails, as you have done in the past as well with other pieces, and you're going to tie off a good firm knot. Take this one piece, the shorter one of the 2. I'm going to even make it shorter. Put it on your needle. You're going to then hide that up into your work. Cut it off. And we are left with this cute little piece, this cute little circle. But what we're going to do from there is we're going to put this longer piece onto our needle. And we're going to take this up to the side, any side. Just go up to the side there. Just string it through until you get to the top. Then make a little knot. And then from there, you're going to weave back and forth, going through all layers, underneath, over, under, over, go around, or don't go through this little center piece here, just go around it, okay? And we're gonna go over and under, and I went through all layers. And from there, we're gonna just take this little piece, get my hand out of the way, and we're gonna just pull on it to gather that, just like that, okay? Once you have that done, I'm gonna now just hold it in place, put a little knot here so that it stays in the shape that I want it to stay, and give it one more knot. Just like so. And we've got our little nose. Okay, so now we're going to place this. You guys, have you ever, like, well, it's a dumb question because I know you're going to say yes. Have you ever got so busy crafting that you forgot what time it was and now you looked at the clock and you're panicked because you have somewhere to be and it's like, uh-oh, I still got to get ready? That's my situation right now. So I'm going to put this nose on and then I'm going to finish this another day. So we're going to pop that on. We're going to pick our side. This is the center. We're going to pop this on right below that center. Just like so. Easy positioning because it's right underneath there. Then we're going to just pick up a little piece of the body or the face and we're going to sew this on all the way around, making sure that when you grab the purple, that you grab it close to the nose because you don't want to see little lines of white. You just want to hide those seams. So it might take a little time and just grab one strand. You don't need to grab a big bulk. Okay, so that it's nice and neat. It looks like it's part of the face. It doesn't look like it was sewn on because you don't see any seams. Okay, so go ahead. You are going to literally do this all the way around, picking as close to that piece as you can. Stopping every once in a while to make sure it's lined up and still smooth. Okay, there's these two are in the middle. We're going to go all the way around, and when you get to the end, you're going to tie a knot off and hide your end under, and then we'll move on. I'm going to go get ready. I'll see you in a few hours. It's time to put the eyes on, okay? I put one on already. These are button eyes. They're button mushroom eyes that you actually sew them on. And I sewed one on, and then I trailed this thread through to this other side, and we're going to sew this one on. Okay? Making sure it's in the same spot. Just close to the nose, but up on the edge. Okay, look at the distance between there and make sure it's the same distance on this side. I'm going to go over just a little bit. Oops. Get that in there. Let's take a look. Okay, about like that. Oops, I gotta cut this little edge off too. So I'm gonna sew that down. It's literally a button, so I don't have to stay on camera with you to do that. I'm going to just pick up a piece of the head and I'm going to sew it on. Now if you don't have button eyes, then you can just go ahead and sew on with black yarn, make a circle eye. And if you look at my playlist, my animal playlist on my YouTube channel, you'll see I have many animals on there. You can just pick one that you like and follow how I do it there. I'm going to continue sewing that on and I'll be right back with you. Now we're going to take some pink yarn and we're going to do the nose. Now I like to do the face before the ears for this particular one because then I feel I can line up my ears better. So we're going to pick this guy up. He looks a little angry at this point, but we're going to fix that. We're going to go in the side here and up into the point of the nose here, right where you have that little, I'll show you. This is the little indent, just like that. We're going to go just off to the side there, and then we're going to come down. If this is the middle point, we're going to come up. You have to really eyeball it yourself and see what size of nose you think looks good. But I'm going to take that up there. Then I'm going to go back down into that point, and I'm going to make my little nose by going back and forth. I've got my shape. This one might have to go over a little bit, but you know what? I'm going to fill it in and then we'll decide. That one needs to be tighter. There. Okay. It's just a matter of playing with it. And I'm going to go up to that other side and go right beside the stitch, come back down, and come back up along the edge there. And we're going to just continue filling that in, making it nice and neat. your thumbnail there so it can guide that yarn strand down as it goes, so you're not getting a bunch of overlapping, but you're just getting a nice single layer. And repeat that process until you have this filled in. I can already tell I've got to change the shape just a little bit, but that's why we do it and we assess. I don't have to make a big change, I just have to make a little change. So I'm going to go back up, I'm going to go here. Trail that down there. I want to make one more right here. So I'm going to go into that point and I'm going to come up on the other side of that first stitch. And then come back down. And I think that's right. And then from there, I'm going to come out down here, just below the center. And go back up and come back down up to the same place where it's coming out, right there. Pull through. I'm going to go and double strand that, then come back out here. Once you get the ears on this little guy, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, but we're going to give him a little smile because his eyes make him look a little angry. We've seen so many angry bunnies on, if you're in Facebook group, there's a pattern going around that is so cute, but they're all angry bunnies. We're going to make this one a smiley bunny. So we're going to go up and then straight across. And then back down. And I'm going to double layer that one as well. So one more strand. Pull that through. Put that back on my needle. This guy's going to be so cute. Go into that point. Back up to this one. Fix that strand so it's nicely placed. Go back in and out the exact same stitch that you went in over here. It's these lines here that make them look mad, so we're gonna have to give them some eyebrows. And we're going to then tie this off. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to compromise the look of the stitches that you just finished nicely over there. You're going to take this, put it back on your needle, and you are going to hide it. Next, we are going to do the ears. So grab your Addi 22. I'm going to put the ears on before I decide whether I'm going to do eyebrows. But that's what it's looking like so far. Grab your Addi 22 and your purple yarn, and I'll see you back. It is time for the ears. So to do that, we're going to need waste yarn, okay? So you're going to need yarn that's a different color from the working project, one that is quite different so that you can see your stitches in it later. And we're going to close up the one side. So you're going to need to see the stitches of our working yarn, which is a purple. So find a color that is much different so that you can easily see those stitches. You'll know what I mean when we close that end. But we're going to take our black needle. We're going to cast on behind and in front, behind and in front, all the way around. Oops. Just like so. And open that latch, pop it in there. I'm going to knit 7 rows of waste yarn. That's generally my rule of thumb. This is 4, 5, 6, And one more, and before I get all the way around, I'm going to change my row counter to 0, so it's all ready for me to begin. And I see that black divider coming around, so I know I'm at the end. I'm going to cut off that yarn, open the latch, put it between the last white and the first black. I'm going to grab my purple yarn, and I'm going to put that into the yarn feeder in between the last white, the first black, and I'm going to knit 4 or 5 needles. Then I'm going to pull both ends just to tighten up those stitches, just like what we were doing. Help that one down. Okay. And then I'm going to just knit 24 rows. Fast and easy. So friends, you're going to knit 24 rows, and then what you're going to do is you're going to cast off. Just the same way we've cast it off on the other pieces, all right? So waste yarn, 24 rows, cast off, and we need 2 ears, so you're going to make 2 of those. All right, friends, have fun. We'll see you in a bit. Let's take one of our ears. We're going to stretch it like we always do every piece we take off our machine. We're going to close our end, okay? So take 2 stitch markers. You're going to find your waste yarn. Now the stitch that waste yarn is coming out of, that's this one, because if I pull on that, this is my tail. I'm going to put a bobby pin in there, a stitch marker in there. Then I'm going to go to the left of it, and here's my working yarn. The stitch that's right beside it, I'm going to put a marker. Okay, we know that there are 22 stitches all around, and this is why we need a contrasting color of yarn for our waste yarn, because now we can see the stitches. Okay, we know that there's 22 loops that will go all around our piece, so we're going to find this very side part, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is the very side, just like that. I'm going to put my hook. I use a 5mm for this all the time, but it doesn't really matter, actually. You can use what you're comfortable with. I'm going to put it underneath number 12 that we counted around to, and then I'm going to count that as 1. Then I'm going to go to 11. Pick that one up and put it through the loop on my hook. Now I've worked 2 stitches. I'm going to go down to the bottom, pick up the next one. That's 3. Go up to the top, pick up the next one, put it through the loop on my hook. That's 4. And I'm going to keep going back and forth like this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to go all the way across. This will be 21, and this top one will be 22. I'll see you when I get to the end. I just did 21. I can pull that out, and I can pull up on this last one. That's 22. Work that stitch, yarn over with the tail, and pull it through. Just like that to fasten off, okay? Now we can remove it. We're going to do that by taking out that first row. So I'm going to roll this up till I get to that very first row. Then I'm going to pinch a stitch and pull. Once we take this first row out, then we can take off our waste yarn. I'm going to go down a few stitches, making sure you're on that first row, just like that. Pinch the stitch, pull, and again, pinch the stitch and pull. And there we go. Now you can go ahead and just pull off your waste yarn. I generally will wind it as I go, but I'm not going to right now. I'll wind it later. There we go. And now that's off. We have a nice, beautiful finished edge. We're going to close this other side. So you're going to put it on to my needle. I'm not going to cut it off because, as I was saying, because I'm going to use it for sewing. And I'm going to come around and reinforce this end. Actually, that's not true. I'm not going to use it for sewing. I'm going to sew on this end, so I have to add another one because this one's too short. So once I'm done this, I'll cut this off, and then I'll use the excess to attach to the other end. Okay? Sorry for that slight confusion. So I'm going to just go around. Reinforce it. We've done this many times already. Tighten that. Make a knot. Pull that down with my thumb. I'm going to make one more. then I'm going to just put this into the center, or right close to where that knot is actually, and come out and cut it off. I'm being bad. I should have my brace on, but I took it off to give my arm a little break, which I'm really not supposed to, but I did anyways, and I forgot to put it on before I started doing this, and I can feel it, but that's okay. I'm going to put it on in a second. Okay, so I'm going to attach this end right here. Just going to tie a knot here. I'm going to put these two on my needle, and I'm going to hide them in my work, and I'll be right back. I've got my little bunny here. I put one ear on already just so I can show you, and it will help with you to visualize the positioning. I'm going to now take this piece and we're going to fold it in half, just exactly like that. And I'm just going to pick up just the one bar from each stitch and go across to close it. Just very simple closing. Okay, just to get it secured. Knot that off to hold it in place. Then we're going to take that piece, and when you open it like that, isn't that pretty? We're going to take this and we're going to position it where we want it. So I'm going to, if I lay this one flat, I went like right at an angle with that eye. So if I go at an angle with this eye, that's probably where it's going to go. So it looks a little bit lower because we're going to sew this piece down here as well. So go at the angle, with the eye, and then we're going to take this and I'm going to just grab a little bit of my head. And you'll notice I left this yarn tail here because I say this in every video, if I'm doing two of something, I never fasten them off securely until I have both of them on, in case I need to move one. So I'm picking up into the head and just going through to the ear. I'm going to do that right up to the corner here, and I'll see you back. Once you have that sewn on like that, it's going to look off-centered because we're not done yet. We have to take this piece that's going towards the inside and we're going to flatten it out. And then we're going to begin to just sew up. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 stitches up. So I'm going to flatten that and I'm going to go in, and this will help it to stay up, and it keeps it open a little bit too, so it looks more like a bunny ear. Okay, and I'm going to take that whole stitch on the ear, not just the edge part. I'm going to take the whole stitch and I'm going to go up. Every once in a while you're going to stop and you're going to see if it's going in the same, if it's positioned correctly. Yep, it is. Lucky me this time. Okay, and then we're going to sometimes you have to do it twice, but you know what, better to do it twice and get it right than to do it once and get it wrong and leave it. You don't want to do that. You never want to do that. Okay, and I'm going to now measure it again, and from here to here it should be, I'm going to do one more stitch to make it even with the other side. So I'm going to go in, pick up this one, and then I'm going to knot it off. I'm going to assess the situation. Yep, and if you like how it's placed, then you go ahead and you knot it off. But actually, before you knot it off, I went down a couple stitches on this side too. So you can see that this is where the center is. I tacked down 2 stitches on that side. So I'm going to go and feed this through to this center again, just like that. Sorry, I'm turning this several times, but I'm trying to get a better position. And then I'm going to just go in and pick up on this side too, just for 2 stitches. I'll look at it, make sure it's the same. And it is. So now I'm going to knot this off. And again, you can take this to the back of the ear and knot it off too if you're not able to hide that knot well. And then up, pull it out, cut it off. After that is finished and you've hid the tail on that side too, we're going to take your 46 needle machine. We're going to set him aside. We got to give him some front legs. We're going to take our 46 needle machine. We're going to cast on. We're going to knit 16 rows. Then we're going to cast off. Okay. So when you cast, after you cast off, and I'm not doing that with you because we've done it. I think just explaining that to you is all you need at this point. We're going to stretch it out. Then we're going to pull the one side, doing what we always do, smoothing it out. Just like so. You're going to reinforce around that side. Then you're going to close this side and reinforce around that side, as in a circle like we did for the nose. And when you have that done, I will be back with you. Okay, I just thought I'd pop on. I finished securing around that side. Now I'm going to pop my needle through. I just thought maybe it's not fair to just tell you. Some people might need to see it. Which is okay. I'm a total visual person too. So then I'm going to make sure that this tail is outside. I'm going to then pull this other side, smooth it out. Don't get them mixed up. Get that one out of the way. Smooth it out. Just like so. Now you're going to take your needle. This one's got a lot of gathers in it, but you're going to secure around that middle piece too. You can cut this one off because you only need one long one. And we're going to secure around this little circle and tighten it, and then I will see you back. When that's done, you're going to take these two, and I'm going to cut this even shorter. You're going to take these two, and you're going to tie them real tight, so that one end comes up to the other end like a pancake. Secure that. And then we're going to take this longer tail and we're just going to take it around and go in through the circle. So you've just gone from one middle around the outside edge into the other middle. So it went from here all the way to there. And then you're going to pull. But when you pull, I want you to straighten this out. Okay? And then pull. Straighten it out and then pull. So from there, right beside there, I just want to get a little bit more in there. I just want to make a bigger depth in there to make it look like a foot. So I'm going to just go right next to where this other stitch was, or this other pull was. Just come right next to it, into the center. I'm holding it there with my left thumb. Then you're going to pull again. Then I'm going to come over to this side and do the same thing. So here was the middle, then I did one here, and I'm going to do one over here. Just to bring that in to show a separation. You'll see what I mean once we get it done, okay? So those three were done right close to each other. This one's a little far. Just like that. And you see how by doing that, you've seen the separation a little bit better? So now I'm going to go back into that center and take care of that little bulge that's there. And go through. So I just wanted to make a separation here. Now I'm going to bring it over right to the side. So we're going to do one here and one there. So I'm going to come out to the side, go in, so up to the side, and then pull, and then come across on this side and go in and pull. Okay, this part we don't worry about because we're going to be putting that onto, it's going to be unseen basically. Okay, these are our 2 feet. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to knot this off. We're going to take this and we're going to put it on here just like that, okay? So it looks like his 2 little paws are sticking out. So we're going to, I'm going to just visualize it. See, just like that. So I don't know if you can see that in the camera. I want his little feet to be sticking out just like that. So I'm going to take it to the back here now. I'm going to bring this up to an edge. Oh, now I got a knot in this. Easy fix. And I'm going to just secure it up on the edge here so that I can begin sewing and not have it gather, okay? So basically those paws are sticking up by its mouth there, just peeking out. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sew this on. Just picking up a stitch close to the body and picking up a strand of the new piece. We're going to do that all the way around. Might have to add another piece of yarn, but might make it. All the way around, up until you get, well, I'll stop when I get here, but up until you get close to the nose, and then we'll stop. We'll leave a little section that's not done. And it will be perfect. Okay. And this little piece on the bottom here helps the when it's sitting on its belly, it helps the face to be up in a right position. It doesn't fall over in the front like it does when you don't. So now I'm just gonna tuck these together here a little bit. I want to spread out this paw just like so. Then I can tack it down, sew it down. And I'm just going to stay with you until I'm done this one, because then I'm going to add another yarn tail. I'm going to start here and I'm going to go up the other way. So here we go. We're almost there. That's where I'm going to stop so that I have some dimension there. If I tack it all down and there's no dimension, and dimension plays a big part in our little animals here. So we're going to then take this back down. Just going to feed it down to about there. Anyway, there's no right or wrong place for this. And then we're going to knot it off. 1 and 2. Hide it into our piece. Cut it off. I'm going to add another piece of yarn right here onto my needle, and then I'm going to sew this other piece down in the same way, and then we'll have our little paws that are sticking out. Paws, or what do we call them? They're little feet that are sticking out from underneath them, and it's going to look cute. I went a little too far on this one, so I can maybe once I get this one on, I'm not going to think that. But so I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll see you back. There we go. The other side is done and it's looking great. I went ahead and I sewed down my ears even farther up so they were just 1 row between them. I think it looks a lot better. So go ahead and do that. And I think these little paws, sorry, feet, I Googled it. Rabbits don't have paws. They have feet. And I love the dimension with the little spacing in there and stuff. I think it looks absolutely perfect. And there we go. Now I made a tail with my largest clover pom-pom maker. This one is the blue one, and it's got a 85 at the back. So I have a set of 4, and this is the biggest of the 4. And I have a video on my channel how to make a pom-pom on a clover maker. So you can go ahead and watch that. I didn't want to show you again on this video because this video isn't about how to use this. But I did use the bigger one, made my pom-pom here, and we're going to sew it on, attach it. So I'm going to put 1 strand only onto my needle. I'm going to go right above the center. I'm going to grab about 2 rows, just like that. I'm going to put the other one on. And I'm going to go the other way. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie this in a firm knot. Actually, I'm not going to tie it in a firm knot yet until I see, yep, that's perfect. Into a firm knot. We want it in the back, but we don't want it way up here. We want it a little bit lower because it helps to offset the feet. So it's a little bit higher in the front than it is in the back. And he looks like, and if it's lower, it looks like he's up on his haunches, which is what we wanted it to look like. But then you don't have to worry about putting back feet on because it almost looks like they're tucked underneath there if the tail is a little bit lower. So I attached it just above that center. We've got it knotted off. I'm going to take that, pop it up into there, up into the middle of my pom-pom. Come on. Which is the end. There we go. I had to give it a little bit of a tug. Cut it off. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assess the pom-pom, and you can see where it's not perfect. I like it perfect. So I'm going to just go around and I'm going to trim this up so it's how I want it to be, just all over. Blah, 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 blah. I won't do that on here. And there we go. We've got our cute little bunny. All right, friends, just when you thought you were done, you're not. You're going to put some pink yarn, or you can use black if you want. You can use whatever color you like. Gray would be nice, but I'm going to use pink. I'm going to go up from the leg here, and I'm going to come up into the center there. Pull that through. And I'm going to go straight across, but I'm not going to go too far out, just a little bit. I think 1, 2, maybe 2.5 rows. Then come back underneath, out that point. That's the straight one, okay? Don't pull on it. You don't want to, you just want it to sit there, but you don't want to, compromise the look of your piece by having that gather in. So just let it lay nicely there. Then you're going to do one that's up and go back into the point. Just like that. And then one that's on the bottom, even with this one, okay? Then I'm going to go across to there. I'm going to do it on the other side, okay? You can make these wider and longer and bigger. You just make them how you like them. I just wanted to give it just a little one. I didn't want to make it too big. So I'm going to go ahead and do this other side. Then I'm going to trail my needle out to this point here, tie a knot, and hide my end. Now it is so cute. And you know what? I'm going to tell you another thing. I was just sitting here staring at it thinking something is not right. What is it? And can you notice what I did differently? Now that I pointed at the eye, I changed the eyes. I put a much, much smaller one in. This little guy went from looking angry to looking happy because I put a smaller eye. So you know what? I never realized that would make a difference, but I guess the big black eyes just make them look mean. So use a smaller eye. This is probably, I would say 8mm, just my guess, 6 or 8, somewhere in there. It's not very big. And it made a huge, huge difference in my opinion. So there we go. We got the tail, we got our little ears, we got our bunny. That's the bottom, and this is nice and raised so it looks like he's sitting up on his little feet, and it makes the front go a little higher, which is what we were aiming for. So adorable. So, so, so fun. Hop, 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 hop. Have a great day.
Friends, once again, I say thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please remember to hit that thumbs up and to subscribe, and come on over to my Facebook group and show me the bunny that you've made. I'd love to see. Take care and have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next tutorial.